Okay. Um. So here's kind of the thing. I gotta turn on the other screen, don't I? So here's my thoughts. All you liberal blue hairs can just chill out. I think for quite a bit, and here's why I say that. Ooh, Donald Trump, our big bad boogeyman, is president. Who cares? I'm saying this as a conservative, but I'm saying this also like from your angle. Okay, here's here's the biggest thing you need to take away. Not all Republicans agree. How many times have we had a Republican Speaker of the House, looking at you, Kevin McCarthy, who ended up being a rhino, a Republican in name only, and just like a total dipshit? Okay? So the reality is that even if you end up with a Rand Paul as the Speaker of the House, or sorry, he would be the Senate, and Matt Gaetz is like the Speaker of the House or something crazy like that, it doesn't mean things are still going to get done. Okay? You could give Democrats the control of everything, and it still wouldn't mean that things are going to get done the way that you want. That's the way that the American political system is. The important thing from your perspective, since you're so keen on abortion being a thing, is we don't have 2/3 majority. Why is 2/3 important? 2/3 would allow us to amend the Constitution. 2/3 would mean that you guys fucked up so bad over the election season that the people of America literally turned on you so hard that they were screaming to amend the Constitution to do something that counters what you were doing. All right? This is just a mandate of fix the stuff that we want fixed. There's a reason abortion was taken off of Roe v. Wade and put on as a states issue. Because we're done with you fuckers dragging it up and beating us over the head with it at every fucking turn. Now, you and the pro life end, this applies to both of you, have to get off your lazy asses and go do some fucking legwork. Hey, imagine that. You actually have to fucking go do something for once in your fucking lives. Heaven for fucking bed. And I'm pointing at both of you, both groups when I say that. I don't mind telling both of you you're a bunch of useless fucks. Because the only thing on your brain is abortion issues. You don't care that people are dying due to illegal immigration, like criminals literally coming across the border and killing people. You don't care about that. It doesn't even enter your fucking mind. Because every time someone brings up immigration, you say, oh, ain't he just a racist little turd? Excuse me. I'm not racist. Some of my best friends happen to be Latino, and you know what? I resent that fucking comment. If I'm so fucking racist, why was I courting several black women when I lived in Arkansas? Riddle me that. Why was I looking at a black woman to be my future wife when I was living in Arkansas? You can up and fuck yourself. The reason it didn't work out is because I had to move away. I couldn't afford to live where I was living. So I had to move in with a family member. We did try the long distance thing, but it just kind of fell apart. Which, by the way, if you think I wasn't emotionally fucked up from it, there's about 3 bottles of fucking moonshine and about 2 months of my fucking life that I barely fucking remember. So you can fuck yourself. Or better yet, unfuck yourself right now so you can get your head on straight. Um, Stop thinking everything that we do on the right is fucking racist, because it's not. It's not about fucking race. It's about security, being able to put food on our tables, the important shit, the actual important shit, because kind of hard to have an abortion when you're starving to death. You can up and fuck yourselves. All right? Go ahead, protest. But the second you get violent, I hope to God you see what the police are really like. And I hope they put you in prison for it. Every time you guys burn down a building at this point, what this is literally a reprimand against you. You burn down buildings, you cause violence, you go to jail. That's what this means. Protest peacefully, please. Don't mind that you're protesting. I mean, we may gripe about it over here on the right, but Jesus, we gripe about everything these days. But no, this was literally just an indictment of your ideology and you trying to constantly force it on every state in the fucking union. No. That's not all it is, though. We're tired of you making that, trying to make that the priority, when the priority was obviously for the rest of us, putting food on the table, paying less taxes, getting the prices down on our energy, securing our border, and staying out of fucking war. But you people, oh no, abortion, because, you drank the fucking Kool-Aid. Donald Trump repeatedly said, if there's an abortion ban, I'm not going to sign it. Repeatedly. Because he's of a constitutional mind. And you know what? You could sit there and try to argue that medical privacy is protected under the Constitution. Well, it might be. And that's a conversation to have later in the House of Congress and the Senate. But you know what the president's worried about? What he should be worried about, keeping us out of war, trying to put pressure on the Federal Reserve to get interest rates down, trying to get our friggin' grocery prices down somehow, trying to get manufacturing back in the United States somehow, even if he has to talk to these business leaders and say, hey, look, we need you to come back. What do we have to do to get you to come back? We need manufacturing jobs back here in the U.S. We should not be relying on other countries for our medical supplies. I'm sorry, but I look at it like this. If syringes are manufactured in China, what's to stop them from contaminating those needles and sending them over here? And giving us all kinds of stuff that you've never heard of. Might even, give you guys like a third arm and make your hair permanently blue. I know you wouldn't mind the hair color thing, but 3 arms might be a bit much. That's hyperbole, by the way, because you people have a hard time understanding this stuff. Apparently. But the point does still hold. We're getting medical supplies from another country. That's not okay. That's one of those things like food that you need to be doing yourselves. And clothing, too. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, it's going to push up the prices a little bit. But the money's staying here in the U.S. What difference does that fucking make? The money's going to the people that are actually working on this shit right here at home. You know what that means? That means we have more jobs in factories and shit. And it means that we can automate our ports, which means that we can remove the biggest chunk of the fucking expenses on the port and get that greedy fucker out of his fucking union fucking $900,000 fucking home that he's milked all that money off of his fucking constituents. So yeah, no, don't come to me with your abortion bullshit. Not when we're trying to actually make this country self-sustainable. Alright? Yeah, okay. Oh, abortion. Alright. Take that conversation to your senator or your congressman. Even if you're in a Republican state. And whether you're pro-life or pro-abortion, I don't care. If you have an issue with it, take it to them. Oh, well, they're going to take away women's rights. Find me one place in... And I don't mean your idiotic blue and on fucking conspiracy theory that Project 2025 is somehow going to be Donald Trump's agenda. No. Agenda 47 has, it has some parallels with what's in Project 2025, but there's a lot of shit in Project 2025 that a lot of conservatives, myself included, don't agree with. Because the document was written up by a combination of Bush, Obama, and former Trump associates from their previous administrations, and a couple from Clinton's days, actually. And they just brainstormed a think tank to say, hey, this is what we would like to see. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. And it's probably not, to be honest. In fact, everything that I mentioned sounds great in theory, but let me tell you the political reality of this. The president only has so much. And, Republicans can be dysfunctional too. We're probably only going to get, what, a border wall, maybe some lower taxes, lower gas prices. I'd like to see if they could lock in the lower gas prices and actually remove the political influence altogether on fuel pricing. That would be nice. Um, you know, that way we could go back down to $1 a gallon, $1.50 a gallon, and stay there. I think everyone would agree that that would be a good thing. Um, so, maybe unfuck yourself. Go drink some soda instead of the blue Kool-Aid for like 5 minutes and realize that the stuff that's in it is killing you. In both things, too, by the way. You're drinking corn syrup, basically, all the time. We're talking about a sweetener that is processed corn, which doesn't sound bad until you see how it's processed. It's terrible for you. You're basically drinking machine fluids. Sweetened machine fluids. It's disgusting. You don't see that shit over in fucking Europe. They use real sugar. Which, yeah, my diabetes, okay. Well, you know what? I hate to burst your bubble, but corn syrup's about 1,000 times worse for you on the diabetic scale than sugar ever was. Who would have guessed? Shoehorning in a giant corn subsidy was a terrible fucking idea. Because it shoved corn down everyone's throat for the next 80 fucking years or more. And I'm of a mind that we need to push these alternative sweeteners just fine, but they need to be safe and healthy. Oh, someone wants to say hi. Hey. Alright. I'm on stream, buddy. You gotta chill. But at what point, at what point do you realize, okay, sure, Republicans control everything, but it's a very loose form of control considering, when you consider the fact that Republicans don't all agree on things all the time. Dude, do you want to get on the camera? Is that what it is? Do you want the world to see your face too? Huh? You jealous because I'm doing stuff? Yeah, he is up here being a dog. A very, very, very jealous dog. Oh, of course, they're going to make me do it the hard way. Oh, let's see. There's Twitter. But what I need is Facebook. I'm going to have to find all these tabs when I'm done. And sweet. Apparently Lauren Boebert won her race. Awesome. But oh, that didn't work the way that I had hoped it would. Huh. Hang on. I was wondering why those two weren't showing up right. Just got to post this off and yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing too. This is probably the one time that she's going to be telling the truth, right? Um, well, you think that you have a fight moving forward. Here's the problem with her theory on that. this was not just an electoral victory. People who are saying this stuff online know that the FBI is watching. It's not just us that they watch, by the way. it's uh, it's everyone. The NSA, the FBI, they watch everybody. And that's old news. That's something that we've known for a while. I got notifications. Well, let's check it out. I guess my bigger point is chill out. Chill out, you know? See what happens. Don't do stupid stuff. Please. And this goes for my conservative friends too. They're going to push and push and push you to want to do some of the most stupid stuff you never would have thought of. And it's mostly going to be oriented around doing stuff like this. Y'all need to chill out. All right, you're probably going to end up, if you keep it up, you're probably going to end up with a couple house calls from the feds. Because I'll tell you a little secret. Donald Trump might be the outlier, the person outside of the system who wants to fix the system by tearing it down and rebuilding it a little bit. But we're talking about the bureaucracies that exist inside the executive branch. We're not talking about tearing down the Constitution here. We're talking about removing the corruption from the FBI, removing the ability for the federal government to overreach into your lives in general. You know, and sometimes that's not just, gun rights. Let me put it to you this way. Let's say in about 20 years in the future, right, things change. And the Senate, that's stupid. That is so dumb. These people are kind of losing their minds. I'm going to get off of the Twitter page, though, because I don't want to start Twitter scrolling. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is that people just need to calm down. All right? I know that's like the worst thing you can say to someone when they're freaking out, but I'm saying that from a point of genuinity, or being genuine, sincerity. There you go. That's a better word, sincerity. I'm terrible first thing in the morning, so excuse me for freaking out my words. We all need to just take a breath, give it a year. I guarantee you, Hitler is not coming back. All right? You're not going to see Donald Trump as the next reincarnation of Hitler, contrary to what crazy knee pads bitch was telling you. It's just not going to happen. And rest assured, as someone whose family members died in World War II to fight the Nazis, I can tell you this much right now. This very Secret Service agents that are tasked with protecting him would probably kill him. I'm being straight with you right now. I know they'd probably deny that openly, and hey, say what you will. Say what you will. They usually tell the truth about that. But I guarantee you, there's a lot of things that he's not going to be able to do that you think that he wants to do. You've drank way too much of the Kool-Aid. Just like the right drank too much of the tea when the Tea Party came around, and you guys accused them of drinking too much iced tea and being fat and overweight. From what I've seen in some of your guys' outrage videos, you're not in great shape either. Instead of... I got a better idea. This one is actually really constructive, too. Instead of screaming up and down about an election, why don't we scream up and down about the fact that myself included and my fiance, a majority of America is a good 100 pounds overweight, and we need to lose it. How about that? Let's do that instead, huh? Why don't I go set up my webcam over in front of my treadmill, and I'll go walk on it while I do these videos. How does that sound? I mean, that way we're at least making the effort. You know? And then let RFK Jr. into Donald Trump's administration and just let him go ham on fixing the FDA so we can get better food controls on what's in our food. Seriously, I'm sick of turning around every 2 days, it feels like, and seeing that there's some contamination in our foods, or that something is slowly killing us that we're eating that's openly on our food markets. I would think I would think that the party that seems to heavily endorse veganism would be like, "Oh, hey, he's got a fucking point. There are more pressing matters than, the fact that they turned abortion into a states issue. There's the fact that we're all unhealthy, like physically unwell. In some way, shape, or form. And in some cases, you might be saying to yourself, oh, I'm in perfect health. I'm 180 pounds. I'm a male of 180 pounds. I'm like 6 foot something. Yeah. Well, what you don't see is the chemicals from the Mountain Dew you've been drinking for the last 20 friggin' years are eating your guts out and giving you cancer. And probably a slew of other issues. So, we're not asking for like the end of the world here. We're actually trying to improve it this time. And you could say, well, what's your motive for improving it? Don't worry about what our motive is for improving it. Worry about the fact that it's become so bad that the guys that even I used to say were basically Satan back when Bush was running things are trying to improve things. If things have gotten that bad, literally, if the conservative end of the Republican Party are saying that things have gotten so bad physically for our health, and this is not just the conservatives, but everyone in the country, you might want to listen because, there's a vested interest in everyone being physically healthy, and that is we can defend ourselves. We can vote. We're alive to vote. We're not dying of 30 different diseases brought upon by eating this garbage. And you know what? I'm going to take Biden's own words. Conservatives are garbage, but I'm going to modify it. Conservatives are garbage men at this point. We want to take care of the garbage. We want to get rid of it. And we want to start giving people the good food. What's so wrong about that? What's so bad about that? We don't give a rip about abortion at this point. It's a states issue. We're talking about federal shit. We're talking about federal agencies kicking down, people's doors and shooting their pets. And by the way, I'm not referring to the squirrel when I say that. I'm referring to the ATF and their penchant for killing dogs. As a dog owner who has a fur baby, I take great umbrage with that. Thank you very fucking much. We just want to do, and that's another thing too, what we're fighting for on the right this time. We're not fighting to control shit. We're fighting to try to give control back to you as individuals. That's what we're fighting for. That's what we all want. But you people want to shoehorn an agenda in, say that abortion has to be mandatory in every state. No, fuck that. Let the states make up their own minds. Let them do it. And if you don't like the way that your state friggin' rules, sell your house and move somewhere else. Alright? Yeah, you have to uproot your life. Big deal. I've done that every 2 years of my friggin' life. I'm in my mid-30s. Think about that for a minute. Every 2 years. That means that I have moved over the course of my life 15 and in some cases 20, and actually closer to 20 because in some cases I was only in a place for 6 months to a year. Okay? And no, my family was not in the military. I've moved around so damn much that I'm tired of doing it. I want to settle down, have some kids, go get a job. Maybe YouTube can become my job. As long as they don't mind me speaking my mind, I don't care. I actually don't want these political opinion videos to be the be all end all of my channel, but I feel like things need to be said because I see people already starting to act up. We don't understand. We removed abortion from our campaign talking points for a reason, and that reason is that it is a state's issue, and it was made a state's issue because Roe v. Wade was not constitutional. Plain and simple. Abortion is not listed off as a constitutional right. If you want it to be a constitutional right, go talk to your senator, go talk to your congressman. Go have those conversations. Go have these conversations with your governor and see what it takes to start up a convention of states. Do one of those two. All right? Burning buildings, it's not going to get you anywhere. Hurting people's not going to get you anywhere. You're just going to demonize yourselves even further. And while, personally, on a political angle, it would mean the end of your fucking movement, which I would actually be kind of happy to see, personally. I don't want to see you guys get hurt because of it either. Like, you know what's going to happen. It's if you keep it up, you're going to be looking at a permanent Republican control of government because everyone's going to see you as a bunch of psychopaths. What did you accomplish? You did the opposite of what you set out to do. You lost complete control of your movement, and now you're just going to sit there and sputter. Because there's nothing you can do except for be a bunch of little domestic terror cells that are just going to get arrested anyway. So rioting and causing issues is not the answer, people. Like I said, abortion is a state's issue. No one's talking about taking voting rights away from women except for a bunch of fringe retards on Twitter. And a lot of the other conservative people that I know on Twitter have said that, and there's like 3 laughing emojis at the end of it with some video of one of you liberal wackadoos losing your fucking head. Like, straight up. You're just hurting yourselves. And I'm just sitting here saying, stop hitting yourself, please. At this point, it's gotten to where it's not funny anymore. It's just painful to watch. Maybe instead of freaking out, join us. I'm serious. Join us. See what we're doing for yourselves. All right? We don't really care that much about abortion. I mean, yeah, there's pro-lifers in the group that do. But we've kind of hit the point where that has been put on the back. That whole pro-life versus pro-abortion argument is on the back burner for a reason. We have events in this world right now that could lead to World War III. And you people want to talk about abortion and pro-life shit all the fucking time. I'm worried about having a nuke dropped on my fucking head tomorrow. I'm serious. Get with it, please. We can talk about the abortion thing later. We have more important things right now. How are you going to have all those fancy fucking abortions if your body's so unhealthy and you're so out of shape like I am that you don't want to go out and do the thing that leads up to having an abortion in the first place because you look at yourself in the mirror and say, my God, I'm hideous. Straight up. No, straight up. I mean, I am losing weight. I'm trying. I'm putting my effort in, that's for sure. I've been on the treadmill. I've been doing all kinds of yard work and stuff too. In fact, until the election happened, I was on a pretty good week straight roll of using my treadmill. And I had lost 5 pounds. Pretty good. I have the ability to do it. And then I got this stupid head cold. The election happened at the same time, which made me get on here and start doing YouTube content. And, I've just had the throat problem that has made me sound kind of like a less severe version of RFK Jr. But I don't think the right is asking for too much to put the abortion issue on the back burner. And to the guys on the right, stop. They've been beating the election. On Twitter, there's no need for this poking the bear and trolling shit, okay? Stop doing that, please. We get it. They're not all there mentally because they drank the Kool-Aid. They believed everything that they were told on an election cycle. And now it's going to cause problems. But they need to stop and realize that we're not here for that. We're not here for abortion at all. Let me tell you the worst thing that you're going to see: an increase in gun rights sponsorship, whereas, previously people were going against it. Which, by the way, you guys need to see that as a good thing too, because it's your gun rights too. They're everyone's gun rights. A decrease in censorship on the internet and enabling people to say what they want. Basically, we just want to rein in the federal government so they can't tell us that you can't say things on the internet. How is that a bad thing? It's a pro free speech angle. It's a constitutional right in the country that we live in to have free speech. Tell me where that's bad. Oh, my misinformation. Well, you've been living under an umbrella of misinformation for the last 2 years under the campaign cycles. So, what can I tell you? Look in a mirror. Republicans don't care about the normal agenda items. Our normal agenda items have swapped. Massively swapped. We don't want to sit here and have this discussion about which country is the best to support America. We want America to be the best country to support America, people. Get the lead out. Get the lead out, man. And get the wax out of your ears. And let the facts settle in for a minute. We do not care about abortion this time. Period. If you want to have that conversation, have it later. It's a state's issue. It's a state's issue for a reason, because right now we need to refocus our federal government on balancing the budget, securing our border, getting our military to defend our country at home, not overseas all the friggin' time. So that way our soldiers our men and women of the military can come home and be with their families more often. I mean, how is that a bad thing? Oh, well, our allies could suffer. Israel has basically the same weapons we do. Okay? They're fine. Ukraine has support from like 50 other member nations. So, I'm pretty sure they'll be alright. I would actually like to see that both of those conflicts completely stop. I'm with Donald Trump on that. I want to see people stop dying. Especially dying needlessly. It doesn't need to happen. None of this needs to happen. I don't understand why people think that it needs to happen. It's a ridiculous idea that people need to, buy the farm, so to speak. Because of what? An ideology? No. That's like coming back and saying that, that the Crusades were a great idea. All that death and destruction that happened on account of the Islamic religion trespassing into what was previously held Catholic territory. That all that stuff needed to happen that way. Well, no, it really didn't. It really didn't need to happen that way at all. So, I really don't think that 4 years under Republican rule is going to be what you think it is, because we don't have the same priorities you think we do. We really don't. We don't care about abortion this runaround. Oh, you're going to lose your DEI stuff. You know what? I'm going to burst your bubble for a minute. I'm going to destroy your bubble for a minute. Are you ready? DEI is not unpopular because of the diversity, the equity, or the inclusion. It's unpopular because of the companies that are shoehorning it in an attempt to get more money. Here's my point. Mass Effect, a video game. In Mass Effect, you can date and develop relationships with several species and genders of aliens, by the way. My personal favorite was Tali. The one that wears the like full body suit. That was my personal favorite, by the way. And and the purple Justicar lady, she was pretty cool too. That was funny. But like that was when it was done right. And that's really where you lost the plot. It's never been about my racism or my sexism. It's been about the fact that, and it's not really the DEI itself. The DEI, the reason that that's developed into an insult is because the companies made it that way by sacrificing good writing to shoehorn in some tax incentive, investor incentive program, and sacrificing good fun gameplay and good stories for these weird like things that aren't even really supporting the movement. They're patronizing you. That's literally all that they're doing, and they're treating you like children. They're not letting you stand on your own 2 feet and doing all this stuff. No, they're shoving off generic character A and B that has um some weird thought in their head or some gender ideology or something, right? And it's not written good. They're not written well. They're two-dimensional characters at best. In some cases, I'd argue one-dimensional. And they have no character development. I'll put it to you this way. I could probably rewrite Dragon Age Veilguard. Make it so the main character is the person with the gender ideology issue, right? But instead of it being this campy friggin' BS where it's a group of women or trans people standing around talking about it, maybe I'd go further in depth and show, like, actually have you play the character through the events that led up to that. You ever stop and think that that might be a better story than just having a bunch of people standing around talking about my gender ideology? Just saying. You're really missing the point. You're really missing the point on a lot of things these days. And it's like you're so off in your own little Reddit delusional world that people like me who just want normal video games, you say, oh, we want normal video games. What's normal? Some sexist Duke Nukem-esque character? No. No. I want the shooting from a Duke Nukem game. Sure. That's a fun mechanic to have in a video game. Grenades are fun in shooters. I want a good role-playing game. I don't really care so much about what ideology's in it. The problem is that you're sacrificing good for an ideology. That's why AAA games suck right now. And a lot of people like to say, well, they're not shoehorning it in. Why would they do that? Why? I'll tell you why. They have investor incentives to do so. And you can thank the federal government for allowing this stuff to happen, by the way. Fiduciary responsibility has gone out the window in exchange for trying to impress investors who've bought into what the WEF and the WHO have told them. And they just want to shoehorn this ideology in to look better to investors. They don't go in depth with it. I have a lot of trans friends, by the way, who have an issue with these games too. They're shallow. These are what I'm hearing from trans people. They call them shallow and face value at best. So that tells me right there that I'm onto something here. It's not the ideology. When it comes to the entertainment, it's the fact that you're not writing it in right. You're bad at your job. And I'm directing this at the writers out there. If you don't know how to write, don't fucking write. Go flip burgers at Burger King. Jesus. Or go complain about life on YouTube until you get enough views to be monetized. That's a self-flagellating joke, by the way. But seriously, it's ridiculous. Y'all, every one of you, left, right, and center, need to take a damn chill pill today. Today. Go out, touch some grass. Go work on a car. Go carve a chess piece or two. Make a homemade chessboard. Go do something that's not sitting here arguing about stuff that in reality really doesn't matter all that much compared to other issues. We have people dying right now, homeless in our friggin' streets, while we're housing illegal immigrants in hotels that you didn't normally have to pay $2, $3, $4,000 just for a night. Where does that make sense? Shouldn't we be putting our own homeless people in there first? I mean, seriously. Seriously. Shouldn't we be housing our own crisis before trying to take on the crises of the rest of the world? So that way we're better equipped to handle those crises? I'm just saying, you know, you don't just jump into a fight. You don't do that. You get as much intel as you can before you go into a war. You prepare your troops. Well, newsflash, our troops are sitting in a gutter shoving fentanyl in their arms and dying. That's really important. And you're just like, oh, my abortions. No. You wonder why you lost. Your only talking point the whole time was effectively abortion. Kamala Harris had like 2 months to try to cover everything that her administration would have been. She could have came out and denounced all this stuff within like a week and never did it. And I mean, even if she did, all right, fair point. Conservatives would have just rolled their eyes and said, "Yeah, right. You're just another establishment girl. Who cares?" Because conservatives are highly suspicious of the establishment, highly suspicious, especially when they're not in control of it, like to any degree at all. It's like, here's how you get two tribes to get along, right? You don't just shove them all into a room and throw in a box of band-aids. That's just how you end up with a bunch of dead people. Or really severely injured people anyway. You take representatives from each group and you Romeo and Juliet the situation until things can merge cohesively and peaceably. Right? And you don't force it either. But to be honest, I'm going to say something that a lot of conservatives are saying right now. After you guys called us garbage, deplorable, Nazis, fascists, half tempted to give you what you fucking want. Half tempted. That's the worst part of my humanity talking because I am so sick of hearing it, right? But the reality is, and I'm going to tell you a little truth. My family fought and died in World War II to prevent that kind of thing. It's basically in my DNA to not allow that kind of behavior, period. So while my brain is sitting here and the worst parts of my humanity are saying, fuck them, step on their throats and call it a fucking day, I'm not going to do that. And I think most conservatives, if they actually sat down and cooled their fucking heads before posting stupid shit on Twitter, they'd agree that this world would be a better place if we actually had a real conversation that wasn't a bunch of fucking name calling and threatening. I just had enough, and these are my thoughts on this matter. They're kind of my final thoughts about the election. So, as far as capping up the polls, I have my own little prediction going. I think David Schweikart's going to win because he's got the incumbency, and I looked at he's up by like 2 points. I think he's got it. I say like 2 points. It's like 1.8 or some stupid number like that. There's 81% reported in. There's a chance he could lose it, sure. But I think his incumbency advantage is going to keep him nice and safe. Juan Ciscomani, I've never actually heard of these guys, by the way. This is stuff that I don't do. Right? He's up by 1.4. I think he might have it, but we'll see. I think we'll end up with a majority in, a Republican majority in the House of Representatives. I just picked a random California one because California, and that's another thing too. You people got to remember, California Republicans are not like the rest of the Republican Party, and they're a pretty decent chunk of the Republican Party this time around. You got one, two, three, potentially four, five, maybe six, maybe seven, might be eight, nine, maybe 10, maybe 11, 12, maybe 13. You have 13 both possible and already declared House representatives from California, man. California is like one of the most liberal states in the Union. Their idea of what a Republican is, dude, compare that to a Texas Republican, man. I'm just saying, you're kind of off base on this whole thing. Like, yeah, sure, the Republicans could land the majority. 13 of those will be California Republicans. You're talking about California Republicans that are going to be making up what makes up pretty much the majority of what the party does or doesn't do. They're going to effectively be the control mechanism is in California this time. In the California Republican Party. The most liberal branch of the Republican Party. I mean, it's like, I know what's happening here. I know exactly what's happening here. If I got on TikTok and I had like administrative access privileges, right? If I went and I looked at these TikTokers and stuff, I guarantee you they didn't vote. Number one. Number two, most of their views probably don't even come from the United States. I would be willing to gamble that a couple of them probably don't live in the United States. They're just screaming for outrage, outrage clicks, basically. And I've noticed something else, too. The outrage isn't really coming from anywhere of substance. It's not coming from Facebook. It's not coming from Twitter. It's coming from Reddit and fucking TikTok. Huh. Well, let's think about that for a minute. TikTok is a video platform that thrives on short form video content that's meant to induce dopamine hits. There you go. To the brain. It's literally the only thing that drives the whole platform is addiction to short form video content, basically. Reddit, which the moderators for most of Reddit are openly communistic and socialist, like hardcore leftists who, if anything goes against what they say, they want to kill it, with fire. These people are not mentally well, and they're moderating a platform. I'm sorry, but when you have mentally ill people moderating a platform, it's going to attract more mental illness. It's going to attract more of these violent personality types and these sinister individuals who want to take advantage of those types. It's what's going to happen. But and I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger on my video here because I've kind of shown you all you need to see really on my screen, but the problem I have with this whole thing, I'm gonna sit up to say this. The problem I have with what's going on, I don't mind the protest. Protesting is entirely constitutionally protected, and go for it. It's your right. You need to exercise your rights more. I don't want to see people get hurt. You don't need to go around destroying property. That's not protesting. That's rioting and being a public nuisance. All right? You got to stop doing that. You can't do that. You can't. Go peaceably. Go say what you need to say peacefully, please. I'm asking you as an American citizen and a human being, don't fuck up your own movement by doing something stupid, please. Please. Because let me tell you, it's a very slippery slope. A very, very, very slick slope of, well, we feel aggrieved by X, right? Whatever it is. So we're going to misbehave. We're going to destroy things. We're going to hurt people. Now, let me stop you right there and tell you what's going to happen from the other side. And this is not some Frank Castle-esque Punisher vibe check thing. This is me telling you what history has shown. When people do what you suggest, what we just saw on Twitter, the reaction to that is not good. It's not good. It's not good. It's what leads to vigilante justice. It's what leads to very bad things along those lines. Historically speaking, it's how you have fights in the streets. So go out, make your voices heard, voice your concerns, call up a senator, call up an elected official and say, hey, I'm really concerned about X or Y, even if you're talking to a Republican senator. They might lie to you. It's what a politician does. But, I mean, you've been lied to for the last 6 months, so, or actually the last 8 years. So, I mean, what's one more lie, right? You know? But to Joy Reid, we're not as racist as you think we are. In fact, a good 98% of the conservative movement, there's about 2%. There's about 2%. About a good 98% of us don't care. We don't care about your skin color. We don't care about your gender. Hell, I like women. I like men too. I would love to have some guy friends to go to the bar with. Not, in that way, but, we're just normal people out here. But you psychos, you get on the news and you're doing it for viewership. You act all psychotic and say, oh, it's for my ideology. No, you're doing it so you can get more views and clicks. And by doing this, you're actually, being detrimental to the rest of us. No. Stop. Seek help. All right? Get help up here for your greed fixation. And seek help. And just stop. We're done. We're done with that. Move on. Move the fuck on. We don't care anymore. You're irrelevant. You are literally the definition of irrelevant in this day and age. Joy Reid, Joy Behar, The View, you're the definition of irrelevant. The only reason that you're still up there is because you get decent outrage clicks and outrage views. And that's it. People have to basically be paid to show up to your show. Mm-hmm. They basically have to be paid lodgings to show up. Yeah. So you've literally just lost the plot, I guess, is the right way to put it. You want to sit here and say, oh, Republicans are terrible, and go mauled in a corner. That's what I got to say about that. Go mauled in a corner. We don't care. We're going to make America healthy again. We're going to make America safe again. We're going to make America great again. That's what we're going to do. And abortion's not on the table in the federal level. It's a state level issue. Go deal with it. That's not what we're talking about here. That's not what we're talking about at all. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care. Um, you know, go deal with it. Go do your thing on the state level. Go talk to your governor. Go talk to your state legislatures. They're more responsive. By the way, your state legislatures are more responsive than the federal government anyway. You probably get a more tailored experience and a more tailored law for the state that you live in, talking to your state that fits what you want than you would going on the federal level. Because on a federal level, it's a larger landmass that you have to negotiate with. And you want to sit there and say, I don't want to negotiate. Well, then you're not going to get anything. That's reality of the world. You're not going to get anything done. You're going to have to negotiate. Well, then what's the point? I might as well stay home and pout and be unhealthy and eat my gallon of Haagen-Dazs or Ben and Jerry's. That's your right, I guess. I wouldn't suggest it, because how are you going to negotiate if you're eating yourself into oblivion? Point. Also, touche on me, because the last 4 years I've been basically doing that. Not with ice cream. I'm more like a Ninja Turtle, man. Pizza, pizza, and more pizza. I'm probably the most unhealthy human being because all the grease that's gone through my body. I probably have more grease inside of my body than a greased up deaf guy has outside of his body. If I'm being honest, I'm like the definition of unhealthy. And it needs to change, it does. And I am making slow improvements. Instead of eating pizza, I've been shifting off to eating steak and vegetables. The stuff that you're supposed to be eating. Don't get me wrong, I still love my friggin' pizza, though. But it's just become a treat. It's not a daily thing anymore. And because of that, I feel better. I do. And instead of just ordering a pepperoni pizza, and before you give me grief about this one, I do eat Hawaiian pizza. Oh, well, that's what's wrong with him. He's mentally disturbed because he eats a certain type of pizza. Grow up. Grow up. Jesus. Yeah, that's why people think you're deranged. Anyway, really, that's what I'm saying to both sides. Grow the fuck up. Let's deal with the issues that we can deal with at hand and save the stuff that we don't agree with on right now for later, because we do have more pressing matters to deal with here. We have an immigration issue. People are dying. People are dying from fentanyl. People are going hungry in our own country, in our own backyards. I actually got to feeling so bad about it that I started donating food. Not much, a can here or there, but yeah. If someone comes up to me and says that they're hungry, and I have an extra can of clam chowder or tomato soup, guess what? I'm forking it over. Because I usually keep a pretty good stock of that stuff for myself, and typically speaking, I only end up eating it 9 times out of 10. The only reason I run out of cans is because I have to make it, because it sat on the shelf for too long. Why wouldn't I donate to a can drive or something, Ramen noodles. I keep a buttload of them on stock because they're a cheap, calorie-rich food. That might not be the greatest thing for you, but if you're, if the power's out and all you have is just a way to boil a little bit of water, like a little butane stove or something, and maybe you don't want to waste the energy and resources because you need to save that for surviving a power outage. Maybe you end up having to set up a heating system. We're getting into the cold months. You guys want to argue about abortions? We have homeless people out in the cold during the dead of winter in some of our states. I have no doubt they have the ability to survive, but wouldn't it be more humane if we gave these people places to stay for the winter at least? Maybe they don't want to live in the place full time. Maybe they just need a shelter for the winter so they don't freeze to death. We'd do it for an animal. Why won't we do it for our own kind? Like, what's wrong with you people? It's being human. The better part of being human at that. And you refuse to do it because of what? You're bent out of shape because you lost an election? That's childish. It's evil. It's not childish, it's outright evil. It's twacked in the head. It's insane. Look, I'm not tugging at people's heartstrings here. I'm calling shit out. Like, we just want people to live. What's with this, oh, just let them freeze to death out in the cold mentality because we gotta drop a bunch of illegal immigrants into some perfectly warm housing here? Okay, well, that's fine. Let's talk about the fact that the homeless people that we have here have issues. Let's fix their issues. Or try to help. I don't understand where the disconnect is here. It should be the one thing that both sides can agree on. Like, people are dying, they need to stop dying. We need to make it so they don't die. And this is why people on the right call people on the left a death cult. It's literally what we've been calling you guys for the last year and a half. Because at every turn it's about abortions and killing babies, basically. And not about saving the lives that are already here. If Biden campaigned on reducing homelessness, they probably actually would have won. But oh no, it had to be about my abortions. It had to be about my racisms, my misogynies, and all these other stupid trigger words that don't fucking really mean anything anymore because you've abused the hell out of them to try to win a political campaign. So we're basically done listening at this point, and we're just going to start doing. You refuse to help the homeless secure the border, get our inflation rates down in a substantive way so we're not paying, a couple $100 for what should be $30 worth of fucking groceries. You refuse to get our energy prices down. You lost an election because you refused to do the things that people cared about. And the popular vote basically told you as much. Point in fact. No, there is no forecast model. And they won't let it pop up. They won't show the popular vote totals anymore. Which is interesting because I just had it up. That or I just don't know where to look. I probably just don't know where to look. Right? But it's actually kind of an odd thing. Donald Trump won the popular vote. Take your week of mourning. Take your week of freaking out. Fine. Don't hurt anybody in the process. Don't hurt yourself in the process, please. Please don't do that. While we don't agree with you, you're still a fellow human being. We don't want you to do that. And yes, there are some ghoulish people on the internet who'd sit there and say, it's more content for me. Don't do that. Don't let them get more content over you being a psychopath. Don't do it. Don't play that game. Because it's just enabling more psychopathy in the name of more clicks and views. Don't play that. No. Keep a level head. Think. How can we actually fix this moving forward? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. You're mad about you're mad about these things, that's fine. I'm gonna point out that this is kind of psychotic. You disinvited someone from your Thanksgiving because he voted for somebody that you didn't like. This is disgusting behavior. Absolutely disgusting. Man, that's a dumb, petty thing to say. No one cares about a fucking hat. But people like this, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something actually 100%. People like this woman on TikTok, they're just doing it for clicks and views. They're doing it for attention. And I know you're a guy in front of a camera. You're going for attention too. Lol, 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 lol. Well, I am, but I'm not. I'm just trying to bring attention to an issue that needs to be addressed. People like this. I mean, it's just like more psychotic behavior for the sake of clicks and views. They're just acting out on camera. They're not doing it for any sort of activism. They're doing it to try to make money. I guarantee you she's getting paid by TikTok for this. So, no, that's not what was said. You need to chill. She's not going at she's not addressing what was actually said and what the actual plan is. The actual plan is to go for the people who've outstayed their visas and the ones who don't have any to begin with. Take a chill pill. You know? Like, just chill out. Your mom's still going to be here in the US. Don't worry about it. It's not on the agenda. It's not on the list of things that we're working on. I'm also going to bring up briefly, kind of funny how you guys losing an election instantly makes you have conservative sexual values. Kind of funny how that works, isn't it? The thing that we've been pushing for generations, and and now you're basically fixing you're self-correcting. Well, imagine that horseshoe effect. You go so far left that you end up going right. You end up circling right back around to being conservative. Kind of funny how that works, isn't it? Yeah, I do actually notice a trend. These are all liberal hellholes that have more crime and issues than any other fucking state. And with the exception of Mississippi and maybe a little bit of Louisiana, these are actually very peaceful states to live in. Riddle me that one. Well, I mean, it does have to do with geography too. These states, actually, Vermont's not very crime ridden. Vermont's just kind of a hellhole for. Actually, Vermont's known for overdoses. That's right. So, that's not very good either. But you get that in the red states too, so I don't usually count that in there. But like the rest of these states, yeah, no, they're shitholes. They're shitholes. Massachusetts, dear lord, we call them massholes for a reason. Maryland, fuck, lock your doors. Connecticut, yeah, sure, you have your rich snooty guys, and then you have the guy in his backyard shooting up heroin. That's great. Colorado, yeah, sure, go get taken in by a Venezuelan gang. Right. West Virginia, hillbilly territory. Mississippi, swamplands. Louisiana, swamplands. Arkansas kind of has a bad rep for meth. Oklahoma's tornado territory. So, I mean, yeah. I'm just going to call it out as I see it. You've got 4 states where the education is quote unquote the best, quote unquote. Was it real education or are those numbers pumped up by a bunch of indoctrinist liberals? That's a good question, isn't it? I got family members from West Virginia. They work just fine. My cousin's a nurse. So, most of her friends are in some very high profession. It was formerly known for the coal mines. The coal mines are closed down. You know, that's why they're on the list of least educated, because the coal mines shut down. They got screwed. Mississippi gets screwed over by a hurricane every once in a while, so they end up basically living like, what's the point? Louisiana's kind of in the same boat, but that's when you're not getting your dick chomped off by an alligator. Arkansas, tragic story of Arkansas. One that the Republican Party is actually trying to fix. Overdoses, drugs, actually. Same as Vermont. Arkansas is the Republican version of Vermont, basically, on that scale. And it's very sad, very, very sad. And I actually want both places to clean that up. I want that done. Oklahoma, Oklahoma is just tornado territory. Outside of that, there's not really anything too bad about Oklahoma. Their educational systems just take a hit because, every so often a building gets destroyed. So, I gotta stop this delusional hate. This right here is what I'm talking about. This behavior right here. It's unhinged mental retardation at its finest. And I know I can't really use that word, but I'm using it to not to demean a community, but to point out that if we ever had to use an insult on a type of behavior, it's this right here. This is inducing violence and rage for the sake of profits and views. This should be illegal. 100%. This woman should be fired. And in a common, fair world, any person talking the way this woman is talking right here about people effing around and finding out, unless you're talking about someone else doing something stupid, effing around and finding out, then yeah. And you want to accuse Elon Musk of being a propagandist? Lady, you work for MSNBC. They're basically a propaganda outlet. You can scream up and down all that you want. All that you want. Thank you, Vigilant Fox, for bringing this to my attention. You can scream up and down about this stuff all that you want. But the fact is, you're delusional. You're calling for violence in the United States. You do not belong on a TV at all. In fact, I think you should be removed from the building, fired on the spot, and blacklisted from the industry, period. Bar none. You're done. That's it. You're done. If I was the lead of MSNBC, which I'm not, you would be out today. And there's probably a lot of comments saying the same thing. And that's the other thing too. You messed with the people who just want to be left alone. And you didn't leave them alone. So, you get what you get. So, right. Yeah, good point. When is all this Hitler shit supposed to start? Where are my fireworks? Oh, man. Right? Why not say both? A lot of people asking that question. Left, right, and center. Then you're going to be overruled because illegal immigration is actually a federal issue and you're basically going to get screwed. Yeah, I mean, seriously. Brandon Herrera found out the hard way how dangerous that thing is. Hey, quit digging up my coat. That's not cool, dude. But that's a sweet story. Congratulations. That's a good story. That makes me happy. Now back to the rage content apparently. I can't say that out loud on my channel. I can't. It was a good story about a couple that, met on a thing called Omegle and got married. It's a good story. It is. It is. Internet Hall of Fame brought me something sweet. Thanks, man. It's a leg. Well, the reason is that in 2020 we had a slew of duplicate ballots that were submitted in actually pretty close to those numbers, and dead people that have been cleaned off of the rolls like they should be every year, but they don't. Actually, I'd argue it needs to happen every month, and therefore you ended up with 18 million votes that, went for Biden in 2020 that didn't exist. They're not real people. And that's not a conspiracy theory, that's a fact. These are things that happened. These are proven things that happened. We have 20,000 mule the 2000 mules story where you had ballots being harvested and manipulated by a bunch of psychopaths trying to alter an election. On top of that, so this time around, instead people got smart to it and voted themselves. Um, and then you had people that were on here. Literally, there was a guy on here bragging about voting in multiple counties. I'm not kidding, in his state. And then when it was found out, his votes got removed, all but one of them in his home fucking county. So, we know you weren't ballistic. We saw a lot of this too. You legitimately believe that, or are you just saying that to get views on the internet? Because if you legitimately believe that, I have a bridge to nowhere to sell you. It's awesome. It'll take you to nowhere real fast. Yep. You'll get to see the people of Nowheresville. And all it'll cost you is a $500,000. But I'll tell you what, I'll cut you a deal. I'll knock it down to $400,000 just because I like you and you're nice. Oh man, people like this. I tell you what. No, there's only one group of people that I would say I would be for screening to see if they're capable of driving, and that's the elderly and disabled. Because, like, at that point, if your eyesight's gone too bad, driving's just dangerous for everyone, including yourself. I don't care if you're a woman or not.
Those people are fucking hilarious. Every now and then I'll come across a comment. People think there's some fucking grand conspiracy, like we're all being puppet mastered.
Yeah.
Sorry for doing
It's
this,
always
Joe.
Jews. So they think the Jews are.
The Jews, it always gets to the Jews. It'll start somewhere and then goes to the Jews.
I forget who told me this, but it's like one of the symptoms of a collapsing civilization. They start blaming things on Jews.
Yeah.
It's like one of them is they get very obsessed with gender, and then the other one is they start blaming Jews. We're
the other
in
thing is
both of those right now.
they make celebrities out of chefs.
Uh-huh.
Like they get very decadent. This happened in Rome. There's
Really?
Yeah. Like they like people that provide you these comforts become celebrities because you're just living a very
so much comfort.
living a
Right.
decadent lifestyle. And
Yeah, he's 100% correct on that. Before Rome fell, excuse me. Ooh. Oops. Before Rome fell, the dishes were chef's kiss amazing back then. Um, but they were constantly talking about like things that we kind of take for granted today, but like back then, it was like the big thing, which was women having more power in their politics, which I know that sounds like a very barbaric thing to say, but we're talking about history here. I'm not talking about modern day. It was very gender issues, and the fact that there are politicians were sleeping with, little boys, basically. Fun coincidence there as well. We need to fix that permanently. So, like, yeah, whole lot of similarities are in there. We just don't want it to go down the wrong, the wrong tube, basically. And the only way to keep that from happening, at least for 4 years, is to put Republicans in control of things. Because we're the ones doing the research into history and seeing that, this stuff's happened before. How do we prevent it from happening again? So, protesting's fine. No one better get hurt. I've said it once, I've said it again. I don't know who that guy is, but he must be feeling really dumb today. You're just another mentally unhinged attention seeker who needs to get off the internet, go touch some grass. We already saw that. This is where this stuff's gonna, just keep repeating, I think. No one's looking at your pregnancy tracker. That's stupid. That's another dumb talking point. I swear they did this stuff just to brainwash and prank you guys. Then they're the ones that are acting irrationally and being stupid. So, No, what it really is they wanted to whip you guys up in a frenzy because the New World Order is basically dead. They paid a lot of money to try to whip you guys up and do pushing the New World Order into the United States, and now that that order is dead, well, now they wanted to poison pill it, so they brainwashed you into being the poison pills. Yep. Basically 5 million popular votes. I'm not going to do the math as to what the actual number is, but it's basically 5 mil. It's like 4.5 to 5. Maybe I'll do the math later when I don't have a splitting headache, but no, I'll just be rolling and trolling when you guys are wrong, you know. You're wrong about this whole thing again. So as soon as we get a secure border, a better economy, and nothing else has really happened, I'm just gonna be rolling and trolling. I'm gonna be literally asking, so where's the Hitler? That's all that's gonna happen. I'm already asking that because it's 2 days after the election. Where's the Hitler at? See, the problem is you people see him as Hitler. You fail to see the fact that he's still the same guy who played in Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin. He hasn't changed. You people have, and not for the better. I don't know if I can show that on YouTube. Well, for someone who claims to have a low IQ, let me tell you, or a high IQ, my bad. Let me tell you why you're being very low IQ at this particular moment. Number one, I'm going to start with this. No one's talking about taking your right to an abortion unless you live in the states that actively are, which are like 2. No one gives a shit because no one's going to be touching your ass anyway. Especially considering you think abortion is birth control. That's basically all your video says. You can go ahead and stay dry, and you should have been staying dry the whole time until you're married. And, yeah. So, whatever. This has, like, 0 effect on us. Me and my fiance will have kids, we'll get married, and you can go about your day. And that's really the big problem that you're going to keep running into. Like, as a nutshell, you know. Yeah, it's just repeating. Oh, this nut. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but he won the popular vote too, so that doesn't really matter. Get ready because we're in for one hell of a ride with him at the helm. No immunity guardrails. Now, how about we get rid of the electoral college? It wouldn't have mattered. He still would have won. Trump already won the popular vote. Go back and look. I'm not going to bother, but it'd just be disruptive to the stream at this point to do that. Yeah, right? That gets a like. Yo, what? Uh, okay. Interesting. Every last one of these individuals should be brought up on charges. I like Canadians. I live in a northern state, so I have interaction with Canadians. I guarantee you this guy doesn't represent many of them. No, he's just coping and seething. Probably some more irrelevant garbage because she's just that. She's just an irrelevant celebrity at this point. You know, I've been thinking about that since I saw that. I saw someone else post this yesterday. I don't have a good answer because I don't know. Definitely not Rudy. Ugh. Are you being cute? Are you trying to be cute? Look at this. Look at him. Probably easier just to take. Yep, there he is. There he is. He's being adorable. He wanted to join in too. All right. Well, that's cute, but I need you to go play so I can finish up my stream. Okay, buddy? Oh, he said, "You're done, Dad. You're done. I want your attention. I want your love." All right. Okay. I get it. Oh, not the boys. You're such a light dog. Why does that? Ugh. Anyway, I gotta fix my webcam again. Some anime stuff. Yeah, that's the other thing too. They're just learning that the world doesn't revolve around them. I already know it doesn't revolve around me, and to be frank, you know. Okay, that's a really wholesome thing. The kid's like, yeah, maybe not that one, but yeah, I'll pitch a couple. Damn it, Dean! Why do you have to be so awesome? Oh man, you know, I I gotta say it. I never really watched his stuff until like a month ago. And I really feel bad because apparently I really missed a thing or two. Dean Cain's stuff is actually pretty good. That's disgusting. Yep. Yeah, it's just getting back into. Well, you know what? You're really not going to have a whole lot of choice in that. A judge is going to come up to you and say you don't have jurisdictional control over this matter. It falls to the federal government, so you have to render to them on the subject. That's what's going to happen, because deportations are a federal thing. You can't really do anything to stop it. But yes, this is actually 100% true, and both sides do it. It just kind of swings back and forth depending on what happens, from one political cycle to the next. Oh, I bet that's trending. And I bet it's mostly people trolling. And this is really all we put Donald Trump at the head for, was to dismantle the deep state and return the power to the American people. I want to be able to put a pink flamingo in my dooryard and not be labeled as a terrorist. Just saying. This is really more what it's about. The spirit of Peanut came back to Kamala's concession speech just to remind the Democrats to never mess with the squirrels again. Yeah, it's a conspiracy, man. The squirrels, they run everything. It's all about them squirrels. Hide your kids. The squirrels, they offended the squirrels. I wonder if they might be the secret alien overlords that came down in the UFOs. The squirrel. Ooh. That depends.
That they dick is hot. You gotta tell babe, yo, your dick smell like mustard, my nigga.
Okay, that one probably get me banned. You want this woman to represent your party? Not a good look. Not a good idea either. Now, what you need to do... Here's what you do. Alright, hear me out. You go find the best looking, most civil talking, like a physically attractive black woman, and you find a bigger, a more heavy set version of this, of basically the same person, right? You put them in real formal looking outfits and you have them speak plainly. Hey, get out of the trash. Booger. You know better than that. I did not raise no trash dog. You're not a trash panda. You're not a raccoon. You're not a raccoon. You're my baby boy. You're my fuzzy buddy. Oh, get down. People don't want to see your fuzzy butthole on my stream. but stay out of the trash. So yeah, if you want to do it right, and then you go find I'm just gonna call it what it is, two decent black men dressed up in some gangster looking outfits, and have them drop the persona for a bit and have them speak normal, like common tongue normal, and just have them tell the truth. Yes, we bought everything that we were told during an election cycle and we were lied to. Nothing wrong with that. It happens all the time. There's probably a lot of stuff Donald Trump lied about too. I don't believe every word he says. I believe that he is going to try to dismantle the deep state because he has a sort of personal grudge. And I think that him returning the power to the people of the United States is a good thing. These are all good things. Hey. But yeah. Um. Oh, that dog of mine. Part blue healer, so he tries to like grab at your feet with his teeth. But yeah. Anyway. Like I was saying, have him speak calm and have him tell the truth. Have him say after this 4 years are over, just have him come out and say what we're all gonna say. I'm gonna say sarcastically because I said it all along anyway. But like, yeah. Okay, whatever. That's AI edited, I think. And yeah, believe it or not, this is actually pretty damn accurate. So, oh look, a crab. That's cool. Yeah, I think this is just gonna be yeah, we've got down into the spam area and old stuff from earlier this morning that I've already seen. Um Elon. All right. If anyone ever sees this, I got a question. When people do this screenshot stuff like this, is it edited or is it real? I gotta know. That's why I like having direct links to the actual thread itself because then I know it's real. So, yeah, the feds need to look into the people that are saying this stuff because like they're threatening to do a thing. Oh, it's great. But begrudgingly, you can do it begrudgingly too. Like you don't have to like everything he says and does for crying out loud. You don't. I don't. I think that he needs to stay off of Twitter sometimes. But he has some good points. And if we can get the good and take out the bad as we're going along, I think it'll be a better place. Yeah. So, you know. Oop. Man, I gotta stop doing that on stream. One of these days I'm gonna really regret it. But, um, The only person who believes that is you. But
I am going to say this as nicely as I can. Please excuse the language. What fucking rights are you losing as a woman? I'll wait. What rights? What rights are you losing? Why are you going on the internet and saying that you're losing your rights as a woman? Tell me. You're losing nothing. Nothing. Can you work? Yes. Can you still make money? Yes. Can you get married? Yes. Can you get divorced? Yes. Can you have children? Yes. Can you have one child? Yes. Can you have five children? Yes. Five children? Yes. Can you have five boyfriends? Yes. Can you run for office? Yes. Can you own a business? Yes. Can you be CEA, CEO, CFO, all the things? Yes. Oh, can you have an abortion? Yes. What if you're R word? Can you have an abortion? Yes. What if you're gonna lose your life? Can you have an abortion? Yes. What incest? Yes. All the extenuating circumstances. Yes, 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 yes. You're losing nothing. Quit listening to the crap that's being spewed. You've lost nothing. And if abortion is so important to you, and if your biggest concern in life is being able to abort a child at 35 weeks, go move to a blue state that will allow that because they're there. Otherwise, sit back, enjoy the next 4 years of your life getting better for you and your daughters.
and she said what we're all thinking. Oh, sticks. Seriously? If they're doing that, I want to see a stream. I'm gonna get off of here though. I'm not gonna sit here and Twitter scroll all day. I'm not putting out any useful information. Yeah. We saw. We all know about the anti-Trump riots. These are all really, really, really misinformed people, by the way. But as long as they're just protesting peacefully, they can be as misinformed as they want to be. Whatever. You know what? My wife, my future wife, is bigger than her, doesn't put on anywhere near that much makeup, and still looks better than her. I guess that's what crazy does, huh? Anywho, I'm gonna go watch some more meltdowns, and I'm gonna pop off a stream later. I got some stuff I gotta get done first. I was gonna do a gaming stream last night, but this whole election thing kind of had me like cornered energy wise, so I was like wiped out pretty hard. I actually like slept really deeply for the first time in a long time, so much so that my dreams were actually peaceful for a change. Weird, right? But that'll about do it for today. Again, if you have an issue with who got elected or whatever, and you want to protest, that's fine. Keep it peaceful. Be respectful. You know, you can be disrespectful if you want to, but like, just don't burn shit. You're just hurting your own cause when you do that. But yeah, and stop drinking so much of the Kool-Aid when election seasons roll around, because like, not everything Kamala said was true. A lot of it was actually a bunch of vacuous lies that have nothing to back them up. So, I mean, if he was Hitler in the first 4 years, wouldn't we have be still living under a Hitler-esque society? I think Hitlerian could possibly be a word, but I don't want to start making stuff up. Like, wouldn't we currently be living in that world? I'm pretty sure he had 4 years already to do very Hitler things and didn't do any of that. So it's just another lie, and we're kind of over it at this point. So anyway, I'm gonna go make some food, take care of some garbage, take care of my dog. Hopefully, y'all have a nice day. It's supposed to be pretty cloudy up here. I hope that it doesn't get too cold, though. But peace and chicken grease, I guess. Like and subscribe. This is a very long video with very little content, apparently. And, like, next to no viewers. But, peace out. Oh, I didn't do the thing.